Y'all got to hear this. I was at a restaurant and a black man was sitting next to this white guy. And the brother said to the white guy, "I am so glad that they taught Dion and Shador a lesson." And I said to myself, what? I almost fell out of my chair when I heard him say to a white man, "I am so glad Shador and Dion were humbled by the draft in 2025. I looked at him and he looked at me, and he can tell that I was pondering, like, what in the world are you saying? And he said to me, he said, "You and I can't go into an interview and act all ghetto and act like how we want to act. When we go into an interview, we've got to be polished. We got to speak the King's language, and we got to do everything we can do in order to get that job. Shador is no different." And I just was blown away by a black man saying that. And so I began to really think about this in a very spiritual way. And I began to talk about what it means to be black in America. What does it mean to be quote unquote humbled? What does it mean that they need to be taught a lesson? I mean, here's a man who has done nothing but bring pride and joy to Jackson State first in winning and victories, 2 national championships, then to go to Colorado, to a school that had lost 11 games, and yet bring them to where they almost go into the NCAA tournament and playoffs. Never been arrested, been an ideal son, been a great citizen, been a great collegiate athlete, only to be told he needed to be taught a lesson. Got me thinking about code switching. You know what that means, code switching. We all know is that when a black person goes into a barbershop or a beauty salon and they talk one way, the body language is one way, the use of the language is different, the lexicon is different, the way you talk and the way your cadence is different. And then you go to your work and you sound completely different. You may not even be wearing the same type of clothes. That doesn't mean that you're not black. So what does it mean to be black? Here's what I was taught as a kid growing up, all the way to my adult life, and what I've experienced, is that there's 2 ways to be black. One is self-identification. When you identify yourself and you say, "I love myself, my authentic self, as a black person, but I'm also a member of a nation within a nation." Hear me. When you self-identify, yes, I'm an individual, I'm a black person, but I also am a member of the collective. I am a member of a nation within a nation, that I have adopted myself into, self-identified into the history, the systems, the culture, the arts, the music, the everything that goes along with being a black man or woman in America. So yes, I am unapologetically me, but I'm unapologetically black because I self-identify as a black nation within America. Then there's the other way that you be identified as black, and that's when the systems tell you you're black, whether you self-identify or not. So when the police officer pull you over, they see a black man or black woman. When you go and apply for a mortgage, you have to check one of the boxes. When you go to school, somebody else has already identified you as black. You can't escape it. You can say all day long what you really consider yourself to be. I'm not self-identifying as a black person. Well, guess what? They've already identified it for you. So you're black whether you like it or not. It reminds me of this story. And when I was in Chicago, there was a family from the Dominican Republic. And the kids, which I knew the daughter and the son, were second generation. We were socializing together and we were at a house party. And the brother said, "I'm Dominican." The sister said, "I'm black." She goes, "When I go to Dominican Republic, when I go home there to visit my grandparents, I'm Dominican. But here in America, I'm a black woman." She goes, "I self-identify as a black woman. I then associate myself, I envelop myself into the history, into the culture, to the arts, to all of that. I'm a black woman." The brother said, "I am not a black man, in America. I'm a Dominican. And when I looked at that and then looking at him, at first I had some hatred towards him because I was like, man, you sell out, you Uncle Tom. But then I began to realize he did not self-identify with the history, the culture, the art, all of those things of what it means to be a black man or woman in America. But for those of us who are self-identify, we understand that we share in the collective. We are a nation within the nation. And then the pride that comes from being part of that. How many men and women have you met where their parents were interracial couple? How many men and women have you met where the mother was white and the father was black, but the child self-identified as what? Black. It is because they have chosen to be a part of a nation within the nation. Within that, though, when you self-identify as being a black American, that you are a nation within a nation, then we understand that there is code switching. We've all done it where we're talking one way with our friends and then we get a call from somebody else and we then begin to change the whole tone, our whole articulation changes, all that changes, called code switching. But now we see that there are many, many African Americans or black Americans who are saying, I'm not going to code switch. I'm not going to code switch. What I do in the barbershop is how I do in the workforce. When I go on an interview, I'm going to wear the same thing I used to wear. I'm not going to cover up my tattoos. I'm going to wear my diamond earrings or whatever it is that you wear. And so we have a situation now. What happens when you are unapologetically black, but then your boss, your supervisor, your teacher, your employer, your bank says, we're unapologetically in charge? Isn't that something? Is that Shador, and I don't know what happened in the interviews. I don't care. I do know that he never should be, quote unquote, taught a lesson or humble because he did not want to code switch. If Shador went in his authentic self as a proud black man, but also as a proud son of his father, Dion, or as a proud Colorado football player, or as a proud just whatever, and he was his unapologetic, authentic self, and those teams didn't want him, then he did what he was supposed to do. Be true to himself. Be true to his culture. Be true to who he believes he is, and be true to his family. And if the employers, the owners, quote unquote, of the football team didn't like it, that's on them. And if they don't like it, so what? But you cannot tell me that we needed to teach him a lesson. What is the lesson? What is the lesson when you say that as a black man to another black man? I'm glad you got humbled. What is in that statement? It's so loaded. Do you not love yourself? Do you like code switching so much? Or maybe it's because you've had to code switch all your life for success that you didn't like the fact that Shador chose not to code switch. Maybe it's because you felt like, man, I wish I had the opportunity to bling out or to do whatever I want to do, to be a rapper and a football player, to dress like I want to dress, wear my hair the way I want to wear it, but I can't do it because my boss won't let me. So therefore you hating on Shador because Shador says, I'm going to dress the way I want to do. I don't know what happened in the interview, and neither do you. I don't know if this was about his father. I don't know the hearts of those football team owners and those administrators and executives. I wish I did know. I don't know. I'm not making excuses for them, but we don't know if it was Dion or Shador or whatever. I don't know. I wasn't in there. But what I cannot do is say, I'm glad Shador dropped to the 5th round because I don't like the way he acted or carried himself. Shame on you. Shador was himself. I want you to be your authentic self. And if that means you wear a bow tie, wear a bow tie. If that means you wear a dashiki, wear a dashiki. You still black. I love wearing sports coats. You don't take away from my blackness. I'm black because I choose to be black. I'm black because I identify as black. I'm black because my great-great-grandfather's a black man. My great-great-grandfather's a black man. My great-grandfather's a black man. My daddy's a black man. I'm a black man, and I'm proud. But I'm going to wear what I want to wear. And if I choose to switch codes and change the way that I talk in one audience and talk another way in the barbershop, I'm still black. If I decide to take off my Rolex because I know that I could probably get better business, if I decide not to drive my Benz, instead drive a pickup truck to the meeting so y'all don't know how much money I got, that's on me. It doesn't change my blackness. And neither does it if you go out and drive your Ferrari or your Rolls Royce or your Bentley or your diamonds. Most important thing is that we love each other and that we understand that we are part of the collective, which means that we are for the upliftment of our entire race. We're for the empowerment of our entire race. We're for the love and support of our entire race. And that Shador should never be seen that he needed to be humbled or taught a lesson, neither that of Dion. We are in this together. As Shador succeeds, so do I. As Dion succeeds, so do I, because I'm part of this collective called being black in America. I'm Jerry Maynard. This is Soul Success. I pray that you have a glorious week. Remember, Cathedral of Praise, we have our worship service every Sunday at 10 o'clock a.m. Central Standard Time. Join us in person. If you can't join us in person, join us online on our Facebook page, Cathedral of Praise, or on our YouTube page, Cathedral of Praise. Soul Success every Thursday at 7 o'clock p.m. Join us, like us, share. I love you. Be blessed.
Thank you.